Dear students, in last class we completed the transmission line inductance and capacitance evaluation. In today's class, I will start with analysis of transmission lines. Analysis of transmission lines includes the analysis of efficiency of transmission line and voltage regulation of transmission line. We study in this chapter efficiency of transmission lines and voltage regulation of transmission lines. You all know that the transmission line is used for transferring the power from generating station to the load center. The transmission line here will be having various power apparatus. We all know that a transmission line consists of power conductors, transformers, protective devices, and so on. When the power flows through these power transmission lines, there will be loss of power, which means that all the power that is generated by the generating station will not be reaching the load center, which we can put in this way on paper. Generated power PG load center power PL, this is transmission line, and some power is lost, that can be shown as P loss, that can be shown as P loss. The generated power is called as sending end power. The generated power is called as sending end power. And the load power, that is the power supplied to the load, is called as receiving end power. Receiving end power. Now we can define what is the efficiency of transmission line. The efficiency of transmission line is given by the ratio of receiving end power to sending end power. Efficiency of transmission line neta is equal to receiving end power to sending end power. If we need efficiency in percentage, then we have to multiply this ratio by 100. Because of inductance, capacitance, and the resistance of the transmission line, the voltage at the receiving end when load is not connected and when load is connected will not be the same. Voltage when no load is connected will be more, and voltage when load is connected will be less, because some voltage drop takes place in transmission line when current flows through the transmission line. The ratio of change in voltage from no load to full load to the full load voltage is called as voltage regulation. So what is voltage regulation? Voltage regulation it is defined as the ratio of change in voltage at the receiving end from no load to full load, keeping the sending end voltage and frequency constant. To the full load voltage. That is regulation equal to no load voltage minus full load voltage. That means we are calculating here change in voltage from no load to full load. By full load voltage, and if we need percentage regulation, we have to multiply the ratio by 100. We know that for power transmission we make use of three-phase transmission systems, but for analysis purpose we make use of single phase transmission lines. In actual, power is transmitted over three-phase transmission lines. But for analysis purpose, single phase transmission lines are used. Using single phase transmission lines for analysis purpose makes our calculation simple. That is the advantage. Next, we will see the classification of transmission lines. Classification of transmission lines. Transmission lines are classified as short transmission lines, medium transmission lines, and long transmission lines. Short transmission lines are those transmission lines which are having a length less than 80 kilometer. Length less than 80 kilometer. Medium transmission lines are those whose length will be greater than or equal to 80 kilometer and less than or equal to 200 kilometer. And long transmission lines are those transmission lines whose length is more than 200 kilometers. So based on the length of transmission lines are classified into three types. First one, short transmission line. Second one, medium transmission line. And third one, long transmission line. In the analysis of transmission lines, the capacitance between two conductors, which is known as shunt capacitance or the charging capacitance, is neglected for short transmission lines. Inductance and resistance of the transmission line conductors are considered for all the types of transmission lines. Very important point it is. For analysis, short transmission lines capacitance between conductors also called as what? Shunt capacitance or charging capacitance is neglected. Reason is the value of capacitance will be very less, that is negligible only. To make analysis simple, inductance, resistance and capacitance, which are distributed parameters throughout the length of transmission line are lumped together representation of transmission lines. Representation of transmission lines as two-port networks. First one, short transmission line. Since we neglect the capacitance here, only the resistance and inductance of transmission line are shown between the sending end and receiving end. The sending end we can show with the help of arrow mark away from the terminals, and receiving end we can show with the help of arrow mark towards the terminals. So these arrow marks are now giving us the direction of power flow in the transmission line. Second one is medium transmission line. Medium transmission lines are represented by equivalent T network or by pi network. Nominal T network. Another one is nominal pi network. In a nominal T network, you can see the total impedance, that is inductive and resistive impedance, is divided into two equal parts, and the distributed capacitance is lumped and considered as single capacitance at the center or at the middle of the transmission line. Whereas the two equal parts of impedance are considered to be there on either side of the middle point of the transmission line. If you close this line, then the transmission line looks like letter T, and hence the name. In nominal pi network, inductive and resistive impedance is considered to be lumped, whereas the total capacitance, which is distributed throughout the length of transmission line, is divided into two equal parts, and one part is considered on sending end side, whereas the other part is considered on receiving end side. The two-port network of long transmission line is slightly different comparing to these two representations. Therefore, we will consider it separately after completing the analysis of short transmission line and medium transmission line. Now we will take short transmission line. As already seen, in short transmission line, resistive and inductive impedance is shown in one of the conductors and capacitance is neglected. And this impedance Z is nothing but R plus Jx. Current flowing from the sending end is denoted by Is, whereas current flowing into the receiving end is denoted by IR. The voltage across the terminals of sending end is denoted by Vs, whereas the voltage across the receiving end terminals is denoted by VR. Short transmission line representation. Next, we will see the phasor diagram of short transmission line. We will take here receiving end current as reference current. Taking receiving end current IR as reference, R and X as per phase resistance and inductance. Respectively. The phasor diagram may be drawn as shown in figure below. So first what I will do is I will take receiving end current as reference. So this is IR now. Say receiving end current lags the receiving end voltage by an angle of phi r. Now this is VR angle between VR and IR is phi r. Current IR and IS both are equal here because it is a series circuit. The drop in resistance R, the voltage drop in resistance R, that is IR into R, will be in phase with current IR, whereas the drop in Jx, that is IR into Jx, will be at 90 degree to IR. If we add voltage at receiving end, drop in inductive resistance, drop in inductance and drop in resistance, then we get the sending end voltage. So that we will now show in phasor diagram. IR into R, that is drop in resistance R of the transmission line, is in phase with IR. So you can show that in parallel with IR. So now this is IR into R. And the drop in inductance is at 90 degree to IR. So at 90 degree to IR, we can now show JIR into X. If we add VR, IR into R and JIR into X, we get what? We get Vs. So this should be now Vs. Let the angle between receiving end current, we can also say that. So we can also say that the angle between sending end current and sending end voltage as phi s. Now using trigonometry, we have to write an expression for the projection of VR on IR and the projection of IR into R on IR. So now write here from phasor diagram. Vs into cos into phi s is equal to VR into cos phi r into Vs into cos phi s. Vs into cos phi s is what? Now we have to write the expression for projection of Vs on IR. Projection of Vs on IR is nothing but Vs into cos phi s, because angle between IR and Vs is phi s. So Vs into cos phi s, that is equal to what? That is equal to projection of VR on IR, that is from the starting point till the point here. We can call this as simply A and this as O and the point here as B. This we can call as C, this we can call as D. OB, which is nothing but the projection of Vs on IR, is equal to OA plus AB. OA is VR into cos phi r. And what is AB? AB is parallel to DC and DC is IR into R. So simply we can write here IR into R. Let us now call this as equation 1. And now we will write an expression for BE. What is that BE? BE is nothing but Vs into sin phi s. Vs into sin phi s. That is equal to BC plus CE. And what is BC? BC is VR into sin phi r. VR into sin phi r plus CE. CE is J IR into X. But we are writing here the phasor sum. I will write it as simply IR into X. Now let us call this as equation 2. Squaring and adding equations 1 and 2, we get you have to make use of trigonometric identities here to quickly understand what we are doing. Vs square is equal to VR square plus 2 IR into R into VR into cos phi r plus 2 IR into X into sin phi r into VR. I should have written this VR here only, plus IR square inside the bracket R square plus X square Vs square will be equal to, taking common outside VR square inside the bracket 1 plus 2 IR into R into cos phi r upon VR. Since here we are having VR and we are taking out VR square common outside, we have to divide second term by VR. Similarly, the third term also. So we get here 2 into IR into X into sin phi r divided by VR plus IR square into the bracket x square plus R square by VR square. Because here we don't have any VR square term, we have to divide the last term by VR square. Bracket complete. Now taking square root on both sides, Vs equal to Vr into the bracket 1 plus 2 IR into R into cos phi R upon Vr plus 2 into IR into X sin phi R upon Vr plus IR square into the bracket X square plus R square by VR square raised to half. Raised to half means what? Square root. Now to get the value of Vs, we can make use of here Taylor series expansion. And when we make use of Taylor series expansion, we have to neglect higher order terms. Using Taylor series expansion, and neglecting the higher order terms, we get Vs equal to Vr into the bracket 1 plus IR into R cos phi R by Vr plus IR into X sin phi R by Vr Vr into the bracket 1 plus IR into R cos phi R upon Vr plus IR into X sin phi R by Vr. That is equal to Vr plus, taking Vr inside the bracket, here Vr and Vr will cancel, IR into R cos phi R plus IR into X sin phi R. So this is the expression for sending end voltage in terms of receiving end voltage and receiving end current. Let us call this as equation 3 now. On the first page where we started short transmission line analysis, this phasor diagram is there. IR equal to IS because shunt capacitance is neglected. I explained it, but we had not written it. On no load, that is when there is no current flowing through the transmission line, IR equal to 0. You will observe that IR into R cos phi r and IR into X sin phi r will become equal to 0. And Vs will become equal to Vr. Vs will become equal to Vr. That is, sending end voltage is equal to receiving end voltage. Now we will write an expression for percentage regulation. Equal to Vs minus Vr upon Vr into 100. No load voltage is equal to sending end voltage. We have just now written. The terminal voltage may be anything depending on the load. We call this Vr as full load terminal voltage if transmission line is transporting or transmitting the rated power. And we call Vr as half full load receiving end voltage if transmission line is transporting 50% of the rated power. Vs minus Vr, it is nothing but drop in line conductor, and drop in line conductor is nothing but IR into R cos phi r plus IR into X sin phi r whole divided by Vr into 100. And this expression you get from, you look at equation 3 here. If you take Vr on LHS, you will get Vs minus Vr. That is equal to IR into R cos phi r plus IR into X sin phi r. That is what we have written in the bracket. Let us now rewrite this as small Vr into cos phi r plus small Vx into sin phi r into 100. Let us call this as equation 4, where small Vr is equal to IR into R upon capital Vr and small Vx is equal to capital IR into X upon capital Vr. regulation in per unit is equal to VR cos phi r plus Vx sin phi r. Let us call this as equation 5. For zero regulation, which is practically not possible, from phi u, VR cos phi r plus Vx sin phi r will become equal to 0. So from this we can write VR cos phi r equal to minus Vx sin phi r, or minus VR by Vx is equal to sin phi r by cos phi r, which may be written as VR by Vx equal to minus tan phi r. If we substitute for VR and Vx, we get r by x equal to minus tan phi r. Or tan phi r equal to minus r by x, or tan of phi r plus pi by 2 is equal to x by r. Or phi r equal to minus pi by 2 plus tan inverse of x by r. Let us call this as equation 6. From equation 6, it is clear that for zero regulation, the power factor of load must be leading. If the power delivered at the receiving end is capital P, the efficiency in percentage of the line is written as percentage efficiency equal to capital P divided by capital P plus 3 times IR square into R into 100, where capital P is the receiving end power. It is three-phase receiving end power. Now we'll take one small example here. Find the power factor for short transmission line for maximum regulation. Solution. You all have studied maxima and minima in your 12th standard. So for maximum regulation, what we should have? What is the condition? Differentiation of regulation with variable phase angle phi r should be equal to 0. Using phi u for writing regulation expression, zero equal to minus IR into R upon VR into sin phi r. This is after differentiation I am writing here directly. IR into X upon VR into cos phi r. Because differentiation of cos phi r is minus sin phi r and differentiation of sin phi is plus cos phi. Now we get IR into R into sin phi r upon VR equal to IR into X upon VR into cos phi r. VR and VR will cancel. IR and IR will also cancel. Tan phi r equal to X by R. Therefore, phi r is equal to tan inverse of X by R. Hence, for maximum regulation, power factor must be cos of tan inverse of X by R, and this will be lagging. Because it has got positive sign here. This phi r has got positive sign. Therefore, the power factor will be lagging. Dear students, I will stop the class here and continue in next class. Thank you.